Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid. Rules could be reversed. Interpret the message as the best resonates. I actually think that, don't mind me, I'm just going to move this a little bit. I've been running around 2 minutes before I worked out, but I got in the house and I was freezing. I'm like literally sitting on top of a heater. Like, like literally. So just trying to get situated here. So I wanted to do a reading not just about what's going on, but the healing that you need. Because again, this channel dives deep. So I look at everything, but I take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes, to help you understand why you're attracting that person into your life. Everything that comes to you is supposed to teach you. You might be like, no, that person hurt me. Well, unfortunately, we learn the hardest lessons through pain and suffering, right? We really learn what unconditional love is. We really learn what grief is when someone dies, right? We really learn, and die doesn't necessarily mean die. The relationship could just die, and people grieve over the relationship and where they feel like they can't move forward. I think I had somebody actually ask me, how do I get over the grief? Because when you get stuck in grief, it's almost like you feel like you're in quicksand, and it's almost like some days you're going to feel okay and other days you're not, and that's a seesaw effect. That's what it feels like, and that's because it's a second chakra imbalance. So for those of you that don't know about the chakras, just understand that there are seven main ones, and they represent the psychological and the emotional aspects of yourself. And they need to be in alignment with the laws of God, the laws of love, the laws of nature, and the laws of the universe in order to be abundant, in order to be a magnet for abundance of all different types of abundance. Okay. So, what winds up happening is, in order for us to become aware, karmic themes play out in our lives because we're like unconscious to what our blocks are most of the time. We just know that people trigger us. The trigger is the gateway to emotional healing, but we can get stuck in the emotion. That's why I wanted to do the healing part, so that you could fully integrate the spiritual lesson, so you can transmute the negative energy. Otherwise, you understand what happened, meaning in the mind, but there's still a detachment. And that's because your body is the mind's faithful servant. It's gone through many experiences and it's already held on to the energy. It knows what that energy feels like of betrayal. It knows what it feels like to feel lack. It's embodied it. How do you manifest? Through the thoughts that you think, the emotions that you have. So the energetic imprint is actually what needs to be transmuted. And that can only be done through integrating the spiritual lesson and embodying the new consciousness. So you really know what it feels like. So a lot of people don't do that. So that's why they're like, yeah, I dated a narcissist. Then I dated five more narcissists. And it's like, because you don't learn, the universe will continue. All right. I'll always give a little tidbit before we start the reading. Anything of any importance or relevance you can find in the description box. And know that the word of the video is what you'll need to write in your description box. And all the directions on what you need to do to enter into winning a free reading are actually in that description box. But you'll need the word of the video to write in your comment bar. You'll know if I chose you, if I wrote the word winner underneath. Then you'll email me. We'll figure out best day and time that works for us. Oh, no, all readings are done live. You can make them private. Most people do. I would never say your name. The guy yesterday, though, on my Virgo channel didn't give a shit. They were like talking to me the whole time, which is actually a rarity, where someone chimes in about their reading the whole time just to give input and be interactive because they want it private. But you can, either way, it's up to you. All right, let's see what's going on. Hope everyone's having a great day. Self-obsession. Self-obsession. Somebody's in their ego and neglect, self-neglect. So this person is not reaching out to you that you're in separation with because, again, they really care about what other people think. They never want to seem weak. They never want to seem vulnerable. It's like this person really, when you see people that you know have feelings for you, you say, hey, this is like a soulmate. And everybody knows what a soulmate is. Again, the ESP connection. You see that person's face in your head all the time. It's like because their energy is near you. Well, when a person acts like they don't care, well, that's because they're emotionally not intelligent. They were made not to be able to really feel their emotions. They were made to feel that their emotions were bad, were weak, were so they overcompensate by not having any emotions at all. But you can still feel the energy. So it's almost like you're connected to somebody that doesn't do anything, that doesn't give anything. So what are they doing? Well, they can feel your energy the same way that you can feel their energy. And you might be like, yeah, but my energy is only thinking about them. And Spirit says, yes, that's the problem, though. There should be something else in place of this, the focus point. The focal point shouldn't be on this person, even though, hey, there's unconditional love. You need to focus on something else. This person does that. They just do it with lower energies. Lower energies are other people that are considered lower hanging fruit, people that don't know their own worth, people that will settle for the bare minimum, that, are delusional, think that they can change that person by loving them so much. It's understand that's what this person wants. They want you to go to them. So you want to know why you're in separation from this person is all because of that. They lied. They're creating illusion. And that's pretty much what they did. And they regret it. That's why this is coming up. That's why this is starting. Because Spirit's saying, oh, don't let it fool you what this person is showing you. Because they're 99.999% sure that you check on them from afar the way that they do. And you might be like, I really don't. Well, they think that you do. They can feel your energy. They could be delusional, like I said, because again, this person's very in their ego, but they're pretty much sure that they can still feel your energy and that love that you have for them is unconditional because they still have a connection towards you. They just refuse to show it. And so they neglect the relationship. It's where you saw it as very disrespectful because this person chose to keep it in a place of, imbalance. And now you're like intolerant because they're closed minded. It's like, again, what happens is that you see this is creating, and this is why I guess Spirit wanted to talk about grief and mourning the relationship because I was like, where are we going with this? All right, Spirit, it's that resentment. Like the cord is like resentment and bitter now because it's like you are willing to destroy this relationship because of your self image that's not real. And so, again, staying connected to someone and they're using time and space and energy to just, you know, like figure that you're emotionally going to get triggered because most people do, then they don't have to do anything. That's the problem. It's again, so, and you know this, and you're like, I know it, I see it, but that's why there's resentment. There's resentment because of that. So, and this person like would rather keep you lonely. Like I said, it's the way that they may feel like, again, that it keeps you powerless because they know that you want the emotion. So you're like, so yeah, so what can I do? Well, that's what's creating that cord. But what you can do is actually shape shift the energy to get what you want. because it's not that this person doesn't have love for you or feelings for you, but they're wounded. And it's not to say to even take this person back. It might be to even be like, well, I kind of want them to pay for how they made me feel. And so Spirit's saying, well, you know that they have feelings for you, but it's again, they're not mature enough. So they create a lot of obstacles. They made the situation 1,000 times worse. Instead of fixing this and repairing it, they figured, well, I don't really want to do that. But they didn't, that's not what they thought that they were going to get. So Spirit says you have a way to take your energy back. There's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on what you do. So if, again, this person is triggering a lot of different feelings and emotions that are inside of you, like having that, like holding on to a cognitive dissonance where like you want it but you don't. It's where the person like refuses to, it's just narrow-minded. They want everything their way, and it's because of their trauma. So Spirit says you can't cast out the darkness with darkness by getting angry. You have to, again, incorporate a higher energy, and that's really through, again, your innovation, because the person has an intuitive connection to you. So you take your focus off them and put it on another passion, is what Spirit's saying. And that's through the creation process. And you might be like, I don't have anything. And that's where the problem resides. Because Spirit's saying, yeah, because your passion should not just be this person. Because you want to change the dynamic of it. Because right now it's almost like they're in a Mexican standstill and they're like, I don't care if you don't come near me, like you're still attached to me. And you're like, yes, I'm still attached to you because I'm grieving. And I'm grieving because of this relationship. You're not really the person that you said that you are. So again, like you almost kind of feel like stuck. And the reason why is because you have to integrate the spiritual lesson. And that spiritual lesson is of grief. So the only way you can integrate that energy is through passion, because this person's not really doing anything through passion, but not passion like another person. I mean, most people do that though, but it's, again, then the person says, oh, well, then look, you just, you'll come back to me, you replace me. There's nothing worse than when you don't take a person back, but you actually create a great life for yourself. Part of this person like keeping you stuck, understand they don't want you to have anything, and that's what the feeling is, and that's why you feel this way. You're like, but really Spirit says you can, it's your choice. You're making it not your choice. And you're like, but because this person, I have a connection to them. And Spirit says yes, but that's, again, where the authority, this person wants to always be the authority. So maybe at one point you thought that was safe and you wanted to be with someone that was like a take charge type of person. But understand, if you're not confident because you're not fully invested in your life, then what happens is that you're not balanced in how much authority this person really should have. It means that they're controlling you without you. It's making you feel comfortable, but it's not for your best interest. It's for them, because people set boundaries in the beginning of the relationship. So the person doesn't let you do that, but they come in almost as nurturing, kind, helpful. All these energies, which is mainly, again, where the wound is, what you didn't have, abandonment. So you want to know, Spirit saying that this is how you create it. And then you didn't use your voice when you should have, which is boundaries, mainly because of fear of rejection, because this person never really made you feel safe. And it's because they don't really feel safe. But understand, they don't want to be rejected. They don't want to be told no. That part of them wants to utilize your energy for them. This is what this person actually thinks love is. That's not love. So this is why they don't want to shatter their self-image. That's why you have to go back to them. It's like, that's why, again, you're in this Mexican standstill, because this person is like, oh no. It's like, I need to be the one that's in control. And it's all because of, again, rejection. But what you know is that that's not fair. It's a feeling of lack. This person keeps you in a place of lack. This person feels lack about themselves. Because people that need to control it take other people's energy. Well, obviously, that's why they do it. But the manifestation will be a lack of money. And not because they can't make money. A lot of times it's because they have addictions and they have other really bad habits to compensate for the imbalance. Again, where this person's really actually intimidated. So, where do we see people that are very bullying, controlling in their relationships, and tend to not be very strong on the outside world? That's what that's what you see. And it's, again, so they have to put you in a place of disempowerment. But this is how this person really feels. Now, does it matter? No, but it's saying pretty much now is the same thing. Why this person doesn't come towards you. Remember, you'd have to be the rescuer. You'd have to be the fixer. You'd have to give a lot more of your energy than what they can give. And if you really saw what they would give, you probably wouldn't want them, because you made them to be a better version of themselves than they actually are. That's the irony. So the hole that you have is the hole that, again, is that when you take this person away, there's just nothing there. So the brain won't do that. But this person will always be in a place of victimhood. And if you're with them, you will be in a place of victimhood where it's like, you don't do anything wrong except for wanting to help this person, giving this person a chance. Even if you see some of their like little red flags, you say, well, I'm going to give them a chance, or I could do this. Spirit says it'll put you in a place of victimhood. That's what it'll happen, because this person is a victim. They don't want really the help. They want the help for the time being. So again, it's all get caught up in them, and they're not creating anything, but they're not really giving anything either. So this is the energy. And I don't really feel like you're in this place anymore. And that's the irony. Like, you're completely manifesting other things for yourself, but you still feel this connection, which it's like, well, why can't I move forward? Again, the reading pretty much was for someone that was saying, again, how can I move through grief? And to understand what creates that in this particular relationship is really, again, more avoidance of the red flags in the beginning and what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a person that is, again, has that avoidant type behavior, which is all fear based, which is happens when we are not strong within ourselves. So when you say the narcissist, so we say again, what could you have done to fix, to heal yourself? Like, what were your spiritual blocks? Because what you see is that this person really, unless you're going to like reach out to them or do something, they're not going to reach out to you. The most that you would get from this person is they would try to bump into you, but they can't be transparent. And so that's the number one red flag, is that this person isn't coming in correct. They never are clear about what they want. And that's why I feel like in the beginning, you might have given this person more of a chance than they deserved, because you could feel the connection. You felt their genuineness. But the problem is, a person that's imbalanced like this flips. They're never, it's like it's a second chakra imbalance. It's whatever their mood. And their mood is triggered not just by what's happening on the outside world. So you can be someone that's giving and nurturing and loving, but this person gets triggered internally by their own thoughts. And so then you're dealing with like the unseen monsters, which play out as chaos in a connection, all because this person doesn't really want to face their own fears. So card number one, inner child one, like this, we don't just find our wounds in childhood, we find our gifts. Now, resilience is normally a positive trait, but resilience in putting up with people that are negative is not. Meaning, like, well, I'm used to it, I can deal with it, but it also means that you haven't set the appropriate boundaries, which that's why this person was like, oh, you're the perfect target for me. You're like everything that I would want. You're a perfect person. I'm attracted to you. I like everything that I see. However, you don't have strong boundaries. You're going to care more about me than you care about yourself. It's, again, that's really what it is. And I'm going to come in really fast, but I'm inevitably neglecting you, and I'm going to neglect you later on too, because emotionally I can't give to you. So you're going to feel like when this person feels like it, which again is their mood. And that unfortunately doesn't create trust, and that affects intimacy issues. And before you know it, the person's cheating, because what happens is you want to lay down boundaries. You want to, like, and then this person you didn't give them boundaries in the beginning, remember? And because of that, look what happened. You're not nurturing yourself. You wind up nurturing the person more as hope to get some love back. You try and do that. Hey, everybody. Mo, Siska, and Diane. So again, you wind up listening to your guidance, your inner guidance system. So you're very intuitive. So good, and that would happen obviously if you felt neglected. Like, and we as children can feel neglected for many reasons. A lot of times it's not abuse. It's just other things were going on in the world that were affecting your parents, that were affecting the people that were supposed to be caring for you. Sometimes it is emotional abuse. Either way, Spirit says it doesn't matter. You still have to reparent yourself. You have to nurture yourself. Yes, you're strong. This is a gift. Guidance, you're intuitive. That's a gift. And I feel like you got away from this person that showed that you had resilience, because what we saw the whole time is that they're strategizing. What we see, again, even now, they're holding back. They're thinking, well, eventually you're going to give in. Eventually, maybe I'll just have to give you a breadcrumb. Eventually, like, they think that they're wearing you down. No, what they're doing is they're creating a lot of resentment. You just don't want to hold on to that resentment. That's why we're doing this, because it's like, otherwise, then misunderstood. Well, again, having parents that emotionally don't give to you, you would be seen as misunderstood if you wanted that. This person just liked to keep you in a state of feeling misunderstood when they really knew exactly what you wanted. That was part of their game. But understand, it still triggered those old inner child wounds of not being nurtured, being neglected, being misunderstood, having no guidance. So you had to give yourself the guidance. And that's the irony. That Spirit's like, sometimes you don't trust yourself. But meanwhile, you were neglected. So you actually have good intuition. It's like that's how you got through that situation. You do have resilience. You are strong. But the situations that you've gone through have made you feel not strong. And that's, again, that when the body and mind disconnect, detach because of trauma. You went through the experience, but understand after a while, your body doesn't take it. We detach, we disassociate. So you don't remember parts of your story. You remember what happened. You don't remember certain elements of it. And that's the fragmentation part of it. So Spirit says, but you're still resilient. And that's when I guide you, Spirit says. Spirit says, when you are in that traumatic shit, that's when the higher self is actually leading you. You don't want to live that way all the time to be able to access that higher self, though Spirit says. But Spirit says, knows that you know how to do it. And it happens through play. You weren't allowed to play. You weren't allowed to be a child. Really, that's what that is. So Spirit says the antidote really is to be like childlike, because again, you have the guidance. It's the same way to manifest abundance. That you've learned to manifest, one thing too, to survive. It's your intuition help you get out of situations, help you create a better life for you, but you can actually manifest, abundance. You can learn how to thrive, not survive, is what Spirit's saying. Because you're down here on the physical plane to learn and to manifest, and you might be like, well, I'm not really learning anything. And Spirit says you're learning how to love, yourself. And sometimes that takes many lifetimes. It's again that that by who comes into your life and what you put up with. It's like, and what your life looks like on the outside. That abundance comes in many forms, is what Spirit says. So when you were neglected, that's emotional abuse. That you do trust yourself, but you don't trust yourself. So there's a sense of not loving yourself, not knowing yourself. So it's again, Spirit saying it's about you now aligning your actions with your heart's true desires. Follow your passion. Now, this has a person on it, but what Spirit's saying is more like follow your passions for life. Become the energy of love by doing what you love. That's how adults play. That's how you find your balance. That's how you co create with the universe. That's how you connect to other people intimately. Then you will be balanced. To actually meet someone to come into your life is what Spirit's saying, because you'll be on a high enough vibration. You aren't on a high enough vibration because if you're nurturing other people, because hey, you're like, I'm going to nurture you so you don't neglect me. Spirit saying what you're teaching that person is to neglect you, because the focus is on, I don't want to be neglected. So you're manifesting that wrong, which keeps you in the karmic cycle of being attached to someone that really never gives, because hey, well, I'm used to it. It's like, because I grew up this way. The Spirit says it's up to you. You break the cycle. And this is how you get out of it, that God makes a way where there is no way, just for you, that the universe conspires to bring you what you need. But you have to be like childlike. You have to play. You have to become the vibration of what it is that you're trying to create. Spirit says you're not. You're more in alignment with the traumas of the past, of when you were neglected, of when you were, because you don't know yourself enough, is what Spirit's saying. And so understanding you're protected. Why do people do that? Because it's like, I don't feel safe. It's like, because I didn't have support growing up. And God says, I'm support. I work through you. The universe is support, which is God that works through you, going to bring you the people, the situations, the experiences, Spirit saying. Those are the angels. Those are the guardian angels that walk the earth. Spirit says, do you think it's a coinky dinky that you met that person and they found you that apartment, or your car broke down and that person pulled over? Spirit says it's again, you lived in the spiritual realm more than you lived in the physical realm as a child. But when a person lives that way after long periods of time, they can try to become very logical and analytical and try and figure it out. And there is no answer. And they get stuck in the emotion. So it's almost like Spirit says, this person came into your life to awaken traumas of your childhood that you forgot about. That again, that you said, no, I'm past this because of this. And Spirit says, no, you're not, because you didn't create another life. You didn't do anything with that negative energy. Where's the transmutation process? When did you embody the new consciousness, is what the universe is saying. It's like you did half the test and got up and left the room. Where's the rest of the test? It's not done, is what Spirit's saying. So you had to go through this experience. Again, this card doesn't belong in here, but it's again to go beyond the superficial looks and to see who you truly are, really, is what Spirit says, okay? It's like which that only happens, but At the same time, acknowledge everything that you went through already. Like, say, well, went through this, all these things, and God says, it's not heaven down there. That's earth. You learn how to be good enough for heaven through becoming unconditional love, through learning the lessons of love. But understand that's not heaven. It can feel like hell. So understand how strong you are and the resilience, where that resilience came from. That again, how strong. Look beyond the illusion of what you're just seeing on the physical realm, because things are happening in the spiritual realm. You're making that happen. You're making it happen by doing different things. So Spirit's saying, you're halfway through the tunnel. Don't give up now. Just because you're like, oh, I don't really see the anything. It's like, I don't really think it's gonna. Spirit says, have faith. You know, it's like I'm teaching you patience. I'm teaching you the higher levels of consciousness so you can evolve into the energy of unconditional love. So you can attract people not like this person. Someone that's really gonna love you. And that doesn't even mean to have a full-blown romance. It could be just, I met this person and I really love them. It's like they fill me, they make me happy, they bring me joy. Understand the universe says, I know what you need more than you know what you need. You may need friends. I'll make a way where there is no way. But you have to align your actions with your values. You have to embody the new consciousness. You have to, again, look beyond the illusion. It's not just about abundance comes in again. Look at this. Again, friends, connections is what Spirit's saying. Support. You didn't have support. There was neglect. So Spirit says, before you create anything, you need a strong foundation. So don't say, oh, it's a waste. I went here, I went there. Spirit says, did you meet people along the way? Again, did you learn something along the way? Again, it may not be what you thought you were going to learn. It may not be who you thought you were going to meet. But Spirit says there's always a reason. It's again, and that part of this is to be a child is to discover. No, it's not just going to be an overnight unfoldment process. So Spirit says, enjoy the ride. You were taught that you weren't allowed to have this, to be a child, to go out and explore, to find yourself, to create yourself, to have a passion, to have a dream. No, you are in survival mode. So yes, you can dibble dabble in your arts and crafts, and you can do, but where's the support? Where's the structures? The universe is saying, where are you seeing the support? Where are you seeing, again, just because the father and the mother didn't support, they neglected, Spirit says, I'm your father. Father up in heaven works through you, through gut, intuition, and your knowing. And it also works through the environment. So Spirit saying, where is it? It's like that. It's again, because you find support. The things that happen in your life when you're interactive in your life. You meet people. And those people, again, angels work through them to bring you everything what you need. So it's a real faith walk. It's discovering where Spirit says you weren't taught right. You were taught to live more from a survival mode. So of course relationships would not be easy, is what Spirit says. So again, right now it's just all about learning how to flow with grace, navigate the difficulties with the calm and acceptance. And the only way you can do that is to raise your energy, because Spirit says healing isn't a smooth ride. It's not about changing the outer world, Spirit says. It's that you're changing the inner world so that you can, again, navigate the outer world, and that all through the part. So during this time, it's Spirit says, again, it's all about you living authentically and boldly, unafraid to be yourself. Like, don't wear a mask, be exactly true to yourself. That's how you rise above. That's how you find your soul's calling, Spirit says, and that's how you face your fears. It's all pretty much just stepping stones, to help you evolve. So this connection, I would say, was important to help awaken certain things in you, but obviously not to be with you. Mainly that spirit saying, hey, I know that you want to make the big bucks and I know you want to meet that person. I know that that's what you do. But we need to do all this work first. And by the fact that you didn't tolerate this nonsense, you again, yes, you did integrate the spiritual lesson. But before we actually embody the new consciousness, you need to do shadow healing. And that wouldn't have happened unless this situation unfolded, Spirit says. So you actually going to do shadow healing? No, it might be, again, a lot of reflection and, again, seeing just it's shadow healing, but it's not with paper and pencil. It's like journaling and reflecting and seeing so that you can heal, so that you can really be a clear conduit for spirit to work through, is what spirit's saying. Otherwise, you're not a clear conduit. You have to become the clear conduit for spirit. And what makes a person not a clear conduit? The spiritual blocks, of course, right? So that those are psychological and emotional energies held in the body as stress. That is what becomes the person's energy vibration. So you want the person wants to change their energy vibration, they must do the healing. Again, it just brings us back to all about self-love. Spirit says, oh, this connection was all about learning about what you were worth. And you might be like, I know what I was worth. Yes, 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 Spirit says, but you didn't embody it. It's like, so you needed to, again, know what it felt like to, again, like see yourself, walk away from somebody that's like that, take your power back to do that. It's like, because when you do that, you're healing yourself and you become on a higher vibration that when you see this person, you're not going to find them attractive anymore because you're not on the same vibration. Can't explain it. It's like looking at a person and whether you felt was really, really attractive and you really had a connection, but like you see so much of them and they just do something like, again, that's very immature, that's not on your level, that they're not attractive anymore. They actually begin to get ugly. And the irony is that person led with their looks and they begin to get all cocky on top of it. And you were able to deal with the cockiness in the beginning, but once you see them on this different vibration, the cockiness, you're just like, no, because what you see is that they don't have anything real to offer. And what you see is you deserve more. And because you've been interactive in your life in the energy of passion, you see that there's a lot of other opportunities out there. And you're seeing that the universe brings you those opportunities. And that's part of that person's karma. Otherwise, they never really get their karma. And that's how you break the connection. You break the connection that way. I didn't do that thumb, but that was spirit saying, that's right. That's when you do it. I thought that we got rid of that, by the way. So weird. But anyway, that's what needs to be done. The more that you pour into yourself. But understand, if you're used to being brought up in an environment where you were neglected, you could be like, well, I can be alone. I could do this. I could do that. And it feels normal. It feels natural. And you're not really noticing that the person isn't investing emotionally enough. And if they're not, then it's very easy for them to betray you because, hey, they already have a spiritual block of themselves of betrayal, of being afraid. So again, the focus then is not on creating intimacy and experiences. It's created on, again, betrayal, a fear. So spirit saying, so it just kind of keeps you locked in not learning the lesson. And that's what that energy cord is. So that's how you're actually able to break the karmic cycle and get at and not feel any grief or any other negative emotion that tends to linger after these pesky relationships that we're like, okay, what the hell was that? And spirit says it's all part of the evolutionary process. to help you heal. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. If you enjoyed this video, God, I look crazy. You see, I worked out this morning. Um, give me a like, comment. Thank you for all your support, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.